Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, April 28th, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 2020. The models are not funny. They are showing a snow event mid-May in the Northeast and the Sierras. But the big story, yes, over a foot of snow fell in upstate New York in late April. Take a look at that. A spring snowstorm dropped 14 inches of wet snow in Otsego County, Cherry Valley, and that's a boom. Keep calm. It is boom time. Take a look at this. Well, not that. Springtime winter wonderland blankets New York and New England as calendar nears May. 4 states with a foot of snow. We'll get to the snowfall analysis in a moment. While the calendar may seem to say we're too close to summer and far removed from winter, the springtime snowstorm unleashed more than a foot of wintry weather on areas of New York and nearly as much as in New England. Boston sees near record cold for this time of year. And if we come look at the statistics, most of the cold records were set back in the Dalton and Centennial minimum here. And now, well, the modern minimum, the one we're living. Severe weather threat for 60 million. Strong storms likely from Texas to Wisconsin. Here's your severe threat map through tonight. Looks like the big hitter, Tulsa, south to McAllister, most of eastern Okie, and then western Arkansas. That's going to be the hot zone. Large hail, damaging wind gusts, flash flooding, tornadoes possible. The biggest threat for this is large hail. We're talking 2-3 inches. We'll be reporting on it tomorrow. Heat wave in the west. Severe thunderstorms for central U.S. A heat wave of above normal temperatures is possible, with record high temperatures expected the rest of the work week from California to the Great Basin and the Southwest, even portions of the central and southern plains. Now, a cold front arriving into the plains and Mississippi Valley will likely produce severe thunderstorms with large to very large hail, damaging winds, heavy rain, and a few tornadoes. Not many watches and warnings out, but few counties. So take a look at weather.gov for your area if you're looking at some scary skies. Here's the snowfall analysis for the last 48 hours. And the big winner is the Northeast, Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont, and even down in the Catskill region, picking up quite a piece there. And the models, once again, showing that snow event coming into the picture here. April 14th, 13th, 14th, mid-April, snow in the Sierras, snow in the Northeast. Is that possible? Fort McMurray closes access to the lower town site. This is the beginning of the spring melt happening in Canada now, moving down into the U.S. and then the Mississippi Valley. Take a look. We have some video footage of the actual ice jams and dams. People were quite worried about this, maybe taking out some bridges, and it actually blocked off the town for some time. Just look at the amount of ice on the shore here, and this is all flowing. So just amazing. And this often dams up and it causes flooding. Pretty crazy. People driving around just as normal. So interesting things happening there. Fort McMurray neighborhoods are actually underwater, and there's a video here you can see, raw video from Monday of ice jams on the Athabasca and Clearwater rivers that run through Fort McMurray and the flooding it has caused in the waterways neighborhoods. Moving over to New South Wales, they're set for rain and snow as cool change hits. Now, parts of North South Wales are expecting their coldest April in 60 years. As cold snap hits the state, you can see this Arctic finger, this Antarctic finger coming up here and just tippy touching that continent there. Heads up. CF Jingara probably reporting on that. Check out his channel for live updates. Seismic update. No quakes of note. Largest rocker here in the mid-ocean ridge, 5.0, as the earth swells, and we're waiting for Iceland to light up and change the weather. Worldwide volcano news. Popo, Pacaya, Plucheskov, Semoru, Reventador, Sangay, Nevados de Chelan, Aso. The biggest puff coming from Sabancaya to 30,000 feet just about 36 hours ago. Residual ash to 25,000. Pacaya has a increased lava flow, which is pretty Fantastic. Let's blow that up and take a quick look at the lava flow that has increased. Now, the report that the lava flow on the southwest flank remains active, currently 250 meters long. The lava flow has increased in length since the last update. Strombolian activity continues to be observed from the McKinney Summit crater, with incandescent material thrown to approximately 50 to 100 meters. There it is. Pretty fantastic. Imagen satellite del volcán de Pacaya. There it is. Colorado requests USDA disaster declaration after freeze puts western slope peach crop in jeopardy. These peaches are amazing. Colorado has some of the best peaches in the country, and officials say 95% of this year's peach crop could be decimated. Now, the freeze happened on April 13th and brought temperatures on the western slope down to 19 degrees. That's cold. I'm sorry, I didn't know I was hidden. This whole time, I've been missing you. The freeze happened on April 13th and brought temperatures on the western slope down to 19 degrees. Governor Jared Polis and Colorado Agriculture Commissioner Kate Greenberg wrote in their letter to the USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue Thursday that those temperatures potentially killed all but 5% of this year's peach crop. That's $40 to $50 million down the... because the peaches already started to bloom and they're now frozen and dead. The Colorado Sun detailed the hard freeze story earlier this week. Now, the Colorado's iconic and delicious Palisades peaches could be devastated by this early freeze, the fruit producers said, but we'll wait and see. Peaches from the western slope account for more than 75% of the state's fruit production. We produce 17,000 tons of Palisades peaches. Not this year. So, to add insult to injury with the Wu flu and the shutdown and people tilling in crops and dumping milk, now no more peaches. Now, let's talk about some interesting facts that bring this all together. We're talking about the Great Frost of 1740 recalled. This is a great article. Definitely not a sharticle. It talks about the Great Famine of 1845 to 1851, where 310 to 480,000 people starved to death with only a 2.4 million in the entire population. That's a huge percentage. And this is due to extreme weather conditions. And then between 1739 and 41, according to the book Arctic Ireland, we're talking the Great Frost. Now, the Great Frost of 1740 is believed to have been partly caused by the volcanic eruptions on the Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia, which sent thousands of tons of dust into the atmosphere, according to Dickinson's book. The Irish population endured 21 months of bizarre weather that was without known precedent and defied conventional explanation. This cold snap continued for almost 2 years, in which extreme frosts, bitter winds, freezing temperatures, and drought were regular features. So, it was shortly after Christmas on December 29, 1739, that the Great Frost began and introduced a cold so penetrating that liquids froze indoors and ice floes appeared at the river mouths. So, this is due to a volcanic eruption, not even VEI 7, maybe VEI 5 or 6. But when I went to research the Kamchatka, I found Ichinsky had erupted in 1740. Now, the Kamchatka has many volcanoes. We know we talk about Klucheskyav and many others all the time. And it is my supposition that a number of these were all going off at the same time. Similar to the entire west coast of the U.S. erupting during the Dalton Minimum. 7 volcanoes on the west coast of the U.S. were erupting, back in the day, just a few hundred years ago, actually. And that should return as well. Hope you got something out of the video. All we need is one puff, like Iceland, to end this summer. It could be the summer of bummer, or, as you know, the year without a summer. So it's a good time to get growing as you sit there and collect your unemployment checks. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Thank you to all our one-time donors. Please, patrons, we love you. Stick with us. And most importantly, for those of you that share these videos, without you, there is no us. We love you. Be safe. That's a boom. How do I shut this off?